Right. Oh, okay, I'm ready. My body is ready. I have to be ready. It's fucking Street Fighter the movie.
Your body's ready, but is your mind?
Heck no. Nowhere near ready.
Oh, I remember these.
Yeah! Well,
Is it an advert for stereo? Yeah.
Dolby. The sound of the future now playing. Why?
I think the best one of those is like, is it THX, but it goes...
The Simpsons made a joke about that. Well, guy's head exploded. Yeah. Chin Chin. With your tiger beer.
Tiger beer.
Tiger uppercut. Boys. Stop watching that trash.
One man's trash is another man's torture. Starring Johann Chipol as the inflictor of pain and Edward Harvey as the victim. From Studio Enigmatic comes the Trash Tapes.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to now the 5th episode of the Trash Tapes, where one man's trash is another man's torture. And oh boy, is it very much relevant today, as I am here with my victim, Edward Harvey. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. I think we're both the victims today.
Yeah. And my name is Johann Chipol, and usually inflictor of pain, but we had to suffer through what was our next movie. Now, what's interesting is that usually we come round, I come round once a month with a bad movie to watch, and most of the bad movies we've had have been fun, right? Yeah. Like, we'd say we've been fun, we've enjoyed ourselves, we've had beer, snacks, whale of a time, right? Now, because around this time we're recording, it's the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter, which we love as a gaming franchise, right? We thought, why not? I think we shouldn't have done this, because what we now had to go through was Street Fighter the movie.
After 7 months of fighting, the civil war in Shadaloo may have reached the turning point. The capital has just fallen.
In December 1994, the forces of freedom will face a power-mad dictator in a struggle for the fate of the world.
Game over! Now, who wants to go home and who wants to go with me?
Street Fighter the movie.
And you were fooled by your childhood memory of it, because you liked it as a kid, didn't you?
When I was a kid, I actually was a fan of this film.
Yeah.
Maybe because I was a bit stupid. Maybe because I also liked the Mortal Kombat movie at the time. And I just thought, oh, great fighting movies, yay! And stuff like that. It was goofy, it's childish, and actually, the movie is really fucking goofy, right? But this movie has deflated me after watching it.
I think, like what we said in a lot of the commentary, the betrayal of the characters just aren't portraying the right characters. They're not right at all.
Nothing. It's absolutely like twaddle what they've done with this, right? And it's just, and that's the thing, right? Okay, now, if you ever watched this movie without understanding a thing about Street Fighter, you'd still think it's a terrible movie. But it would just be like very shallow and like non-existent, and all the references would make no sense, right? But watching it knowing who the Street Fighter characters are, especially if you're a fan of Street Fighter 2...
It's even worse.
It's even worse! It's like, not only is it a bad movie for people who've never played Street Fighter games, it's even worse for anyone who's even touched the controller or knows who any of these characters are, right? And This is why it's deflating. Majority of the commentary is actually us going, that's not like the game. What the fuck is this? Who is this? Why is that guy a dickhead? What's this guy? You're not even tall enough. You're the wrong ethnicity. How are you this? Ugh.
Why is Balrog a cameraman? I'm sorry.
Why is Balrog a cameraman? Why is Honda a Samoan? Right?
Ryu and Ken, dick gangster guys.
Why are they arms dealers? Where are they there in the first place? Why is Guile, who is supposedly an American, played by Jean-Claude fucking Van Damme, who can't even attempt an American accent, and clearly is high on coke?
I haven't seen this movie for years.
Same. It's just...
I think I've avoided it.
Have you purposely avoided it? Because for me, here it comes. Oh, it's like...
So butch, the music, straight away. It's like masculine military music.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia, manly men. The ultimate battle.
Good evening. This is Sander Van Oker, and this is the GNT World News. After 7 months of fighting, the Civil
Okay.
War in Shadaloo may have reached the turning point.
One thing
The capital has just
I instantly hated about this film is that they pick the weirdest storyline that's nothing to do with any of the main characters and they make that into the movie. Okay, right. Before we get even more angry, right, let's attempt to break down this movie, all right? So, this movie is a 1994 film based off the Street Fighter franchise done by Capcom, right? That is very obvious. This was during a time in a weird period where video games were starting to get very popular because you had the Super Nintendo, the Sega Mega Drive, people were going to arcades. So it wasn't actually that uncommon for them to start making video game movies, right? They started off with things like bloody... like Mario Brothers movie, but we're never touching that one. I'm already putting a dib on it. We're not touching that one. If we couldn't survive this properly, how the fuck are we gonna do Mario Brothers?
Yeah.
With fucking who played him? With Mario. Played Mario.
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins.
Yeah.
Played Mario. Who apparently he was drunk on set the entire time because it was that garbage. It was like that legit of a mess.
I can't remember that. I don't remember hating that movie, but I think I was dead young, so I didn't really acknowledge it too much.
Garbage. But here's the thing, though. What is your opinion on video game movies? Let's go as a whole. Like, do they work or not?
Not usually. I mean, it's very rare if they work. I do quite like some of the Tomb Raider movies are all right.
Yeah.
Like the Angelina Jolie one's a bit of fun, and the recent Tomb Raider movie was good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too.
It's not like the best film in the world, but in terms of converting a game to a movie, they did a good job, I thought.
They did it enough that was original and based on the game that you're like not offended by it, right? So it's like a good medium. I actually liked the Silent Hill movie, even though they did change a little bit from the game, but they had to. And everything with Sean Bean in it was complete waste of time.
Yeah.
Right? There were loads of these kind of movies. Like, do you remember Double Dragon, the movie?
No.
The Double Dragon, the movie. That was a thing. Obviously Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The movie after that was garbage. Prince of Persia. They made a Prince of Persia movie. Doom.
Yeah.
We have learned that video game movies don't work. Because video games really... video games are not about story. Like, not the majority of the time, right? Let's not lie. Like, when you're playing Street Fighter, you're not in there because, like, oh, I really want to know what the backstory of all these people are.
Yeah.
You don't care. You want to know if you can pull a fucking flying hurricane punch, right? That's all you care about. But in a movie, you can't just go, let's look at all the punches. You need a plot. You need a story. You need something. And that's what I struggled with this movie, because the plot is non-existent. To the point that the only way I can figure out clearly what the plot is, to some degree, is get to the back of the DVD case and read it aloud and see if anything rings a bell. So, Shadaloo, Southeastern Asia, 1995. Okay, we're there. We know that. Right? So the movie starts in basically this fake South Asian country, right? So, a civil war enters its 7th month. Warlord General M. Bison, played by Raul Julia, basically Gomez Adams, right, virtually brings about global warfare when he takes 63 Allied nation relief workers hostage and threatens to execute them unless a ransom of $20 billion is paid. It is the mission of Colonel William F. Guile, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, to rescue the hostages, but he has to locate them first. As part of an audacious plan, audacious is the word because the plan is ridiculous, to track down the general and his futuristic fortress, Guile and British intelligence officer Cammy, played by Kylie Minogue of all people, which is interesting casting. Recruit to their forces 2 renegade heroes who happen to be Ryu and Ken, right? Which is fucking ridiculous. However, their entire plan is nearly squashed when GNT news correspondent Chung Lee Zhang, so we now got Chung Lee into the mix, intervenes, and she wants more than just a story. Now, action reaches fever pitch as Guile, Bison, and their forces clash in a fierce battle, and the fate of the free world hangs in the balance. Okay, does any of that sound like a fighting game?
I think they overcomplicated it. They like we were saying that when we were watching it, it's too political and it's too like what I think Street Fighter movie should be like is more like, you know, the original idea for like Bruce Lee's Game of Death, where it's kind of like different fighters against each other from different styles. Yeah. And it's kind of like the ultimate challenge from around the world. All these fighters are put together. Yeah. And they have to fight every style, you know, and like try and work out who's the world's best fighter. Yeah. And it should. I think Street Fighter films should be like that, like about a championship where like fighters have come together and they have to fight, and then maybe there's some kind of like backstory about some of the characters and what they're up to behind the scenes, but mainly about a tournament.
This is how the movie came to be, all right? There was actually quite a lot here in terms of production, which is fascinating. And it shows how the studio and Capcom were constantly at loggerheads at each other, okay? So because Capcom was the co-financer of the film, right, every aspect of the production had to require their approval. So Capcom approved this bullshit.
God, I bet there was like a lot of sort of talks in offices though for it.
Yeah, and like the studio fighting.
I don't think they'd be like literally just signing off straight away.
I think basically there'd be moments where the studio's saying, we're going to make this a war movie, and Capcom's like, no, what are you talking about? And it's like, oh, we're going to do this. Oh, we'll have Bison like this, and it had to be at loggerheads, and they had to maybe do enough changes. The studio had to do enough changes, and Capcom had to bend their back a bit in order to make what the hell this is, right? Among other things, it was mandated to be released in December 1994. So this was supposed to come out Christmas time 1994, right? Yeah. Which is a very odd time to release it anyway, which required the cast and crew to maintain an aggressive filming schedule. Like, it was aggressive, right? He basically, the director and writer of this, De Souza, who actually ended up directing quite a few other movies, said he wrote the initial draft of the script overnight, being made aware that Capcom executives were in Los Angeles on short notice, and because he himself was a fan of the game, he had to write it in at night to give it to him on the day so they can start shooting immediately.
God.
Right? Capcom had long envisioned, actually, this is the thing, you know how we said that Jean-Claude Van Damme in this movie was, like, terrible, right? Oddly enough, Capcom envisioned that Jean-Claude Van Damme was always supposed to be Guile the entire time, and asked him to be the cast. But here's the thing was, Van Damme, you know what role he turned down? He turned down the role of Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat movie to do this one.
Right.
So, he left one video game movie to do this video game movie. I suppose
it's because he's the lead in this one.
I guess so.
And Johnny Cage isn't the lead in Mortal Kombat. But it's more appropriate for Van Damme.
Far more appropriate for Jean-Claude Van Damme to have been Johnny Cage than this.
Isn't like... I mean, Johnny Cage is basically based on Van Damme.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because he does the splits and stuff, doesn't he?
Exactly. And Jean-Claude Van Damme did reveal that he was, in fact, having a drug problem during filming, which...
That's a surprise.
Whoa. But also, here's something you didn't realise I looked this now. He had an extramarital affair with Kylie Minogue on set.
Oh, God.
Ooh. So no wonder they were a bit more coupley on set. They were like, oh, we're also banging each other. Well, then again,
dear.
oh, God.
I kind of disappointed in Kylie for giving into Van Damme's charms.
Charms or coke? Because, my God. All right? It's ridiculous.
That surprises me.
This could be the break we need. If Sagat runs against the bison, then he's got to know where bison is hiding. All we have to do is to infiltrate someone into his gang.
No one speaks like this.
It's basically just Van Damme, isn't it? Like, it's not Guile at all, it's Van Damme.
It's Van Damme.
It's like being himself.
And the thing is, Van Damme, he's saying the lines, like he's remembering the lines as he is going along.
New friends.
Like he's saying, duh, 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 duh. It's either that or the cocaine. He looks as if every time he's shooting, he's on a downer. Like he's done the cocaine, he's been a couple of hours now, and he looks a little ragged, right? So it's been like he's just finished a cocaine binge, and he's now saying, now go and act. It's really disgustingly tiring.
Because every time he has to deliver a line, it's kind of like he's remembering it in his head, and he says it in chunks, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da.
And you're thinking, like, say it as a sentence. You're like, so, if me and Bison are supposed to be in combat...
Like a really shit, like Captain Kirk.
Here's the thing. After Van Damme was cast and Raul Julia played, was Bison, here's the thing that explains so much about the movie, right? Most of the casting budget was spent. All right? Van Damme's fee alone was about $8 million, and the movie was $35 million. So this meant that the majority of the other parts had to go to unknown actors. However, Kylie Minogue was cast because she was part of the Australian Actors Guild, right? And Sosoiza wanted to hire an Australian actor because half the movie was actually going to be filmed in Australia. So by hiring Kylie Minogue, they got a bit of a tax rebate so they could get more money to spend on the rest of the movie.
Yeah, because normally, I suppose, Kylie would be able to charge a lot more because she's quite a big star in the music world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is why Kylie Minogue was in it, even though she barely fights, barely does anything, barely says anything. I really did not realise her name was Cammy until halfway through the movie.
I think I saw this at the cinema,
Why would you spend money to see
Well, I was young, and it was like, I didn't know it was going to be terrible.
When you were a kid, did you like it as a kid?
No.
Even as a kid, you go, this is rubbish, this is bullshit.
An attack from the air is impossible.
Look at Cammy's face. She looks so, done with this movie. It's like, I am so done already. Look at it!
The main force will come from the north, while a single vessel equipped with the latest in stealth technology will come up this
Stealth boat.
What other acting did she do other than Neighbours and this?
Neighbours, a few other small bits, I guess, but she's not really, like, a movie actress.
No. I think after this movie, didn't she just think, I think I'll give up with acting, I'll just stick to music?
I'll just stick to pop. Because, listen, if you've got Kylie Minogue, right? Now, Cammy was a later character, yeah, but she was a pretty cool character, right? She should be in the full, One Piece, ready to kick butt, legit. She does nothing in this movie. So, let's talk about that. Let's actually go through the movie bit by bit if we can remember it. Because I think a lot of it's sort of blanked out a bit.
Well, it just sort of you can't really remember the structure of it. It's difficult to kind of...
Do you know what I think the worst bit of it is? The movie itself is surprisingly bland. The movie doesn't have anything that's really stand out. at all. It's shot very blandly. All the costumes look rubbish. The sets don't look interesting. There's nothing that makes you go, ooh, right? And I think that's why I'm struggling to remember the plot. I do remember roughly how it starts. It starts off with a whole bunch of news of Shadaloo about how General M. Bison has now pretty much taken over and is now wanting to take over the world, right?
Yeah.
Chun-Li appears. And Chun-Li, who in the video game is like Chinese CIA kind of thing, right? Like he's supposed to be like deep undercover kind of stuff, right? Is a journalist here.
Yeah. Just like a trashy journalist, like just looking for any kind of bit of news that she can, like...
Yeah. Like, she's not even, like, she's not even like, I'm a very serious journalist. It's more like, I'm trying to get a scoop.
Yeah.
Right? And so she's talking... Basically, this whole beginning is just exposition. It's just explaining the world, right?
Because it just dump you in there, doesn't it? Like...
It doesn't explain anything. You don't know who the fucking Bison is, really. You don't know who any of these characters are. You don't know where the fuck you are, because then you reveal they're basically James Bond-like lair of M. Bison. And that's when we're first introduced to Raul Julia, who, poor man. Poor man. He is, however, the only saving grace of this movie.
Yeah. Because he plays it like a proper... He hams it up really bad. And it's awesome, though, to watch. His wide ping-pong ball eyes.
Oh, they were massive!
So, there's like the... he seems to really like the media, doesn't he, Bison?
Yeah.
He seems to be like, sort of... showing off how evil he is across the media.
Oh, he does. Like every time, even just in his own lair, he likes to show off. So he has screens all over the place where he wants to show his face, like, look how evil I am. Or whenever he gets, there's a later on where he goes and links it, he's like, look how evil this is. I am so evil.
He introduced he's got hostages, hasn't he?
He's got hostages. He's kidnapped all these hostages, right? And in the meantime, Chun-Li is talking literally the full backstory because there's no time to explain. There's no real, it's all tell, don't show in this thing, right? And then, so he gets a couple of soldiers at one point, and so he starts trying to fight them. And I'm using air quotes at the minute because fighting was literally him just pushing him in a hole.
Yeah.
It's like, Okay, now, Raul Julia, here's sort of a thing with Raul Julia. Now, Raul Julia, at this point, was incredibly sick, right? He was incredibly sick. He just barely survived making this movie, all right? And it's a real shame on that part. The only thing is that he did this originally he did this role before his kids.
Yeah.
Because his kids were a huge Street Fighter fan, right? But the problem with that is that clearly his final role is in this piece of garbage.
Yeah, but at the same time, people will remember you by your greatest roles, not by your last role. So I always think of him as Addams Family, like.
True, but you'll also think of him as M. Bison because this is the thing. He is still a very charismatic man, and he's reading it like Shakespeare, right? Yeah. Even if some of the dialogue and line delivery is just mind-boggling, right? Like absolutely insane.
Right.
What gets me mainly is the fact that the important characters in the game are not the important characters in the movie.
Like Chun-Li, look at her.
She's just a reporter, man.
Chun-Li is supposed to be like she's basically Chinese CIA, right? And she's just that. Oh, I'm just a journalist. M. Bison's supposed to be like a butch Thai man, supposedly, right?
In the manga Street Fighter 2 movie, there's like a really inappropriate but sexy scene with Chun-Li in the shower.
Yeah, remember that was awkward as hell. And did Guile come in at some point as well?
No, it was Vega.
Vega, oh yeah.
Stuck in and she had an epic fight with Vega in her apartment.
Oh yeah, and she was basically just in a towel.
Yeah.
Oh, that was impressive.
So cool though.
What? We should be watching that instead of this.
Yeah, but that's a good movie.
I know. I know. $20 billion. Oh.
That bastard bison.
Yes!
I know you like to look at yourself on television, you sick son of a bitch. So look at this.
That's all you need.
Break in.
Now.
DJ!
Leave it.
Wow, look at that CGI satellite.
What the hell? Balrog, do you believe this?
Why is Balrog a cameraman?
Balrog's supposed to be a villain, isn't he?
Yeah, he's supposed to be like a bad guy boxer.
Yeah. Not just a cameraman.
Fellow warrior with such disrespect.
Warrior, you.
If my $20 billion are not delivered by then, the hostages will die, and the world will hold you responsible. Victory!
Victory!
You hostages, if you can hear me, we're coming. We're coming. Charlie, hang on, buddy. We're coming. We're coming. Hang on.
Uh-oh. Raul Julia's face in this movie is like the best, and he's eating the scenery up.
I mean, he's the only good actor in it, really.
Yeah, pretty much. And he was dying as well. So this is the man who was incredibly sick and out-acted everybody.
Giles' friend. Take him to the laboratory.
Now, Raul Julia, in this case, he's going in, he's bisoning out, and saying, like, I need $20 billion to help my fund to start my new country, and I will let you go of all of my hostages. That's literally how he speaks, right? It's like, all of my hostages, right? And if not, I will bring forth eaten by a beast. It's properly hamming it. Really, just imagining his mannerisms is the saving grace of this movie. Everything else could eat a bag of dicks. And I mean that legitimately. It angered me a bit. And then suddenly, the man of the hour shows up on the TV. Mr. Jean-Claude Van Damme. And Chung-Li's trying to interview him. And basically just does this, which is just puts his fist up in the air.
I got something for you, Bison.
And like, wow, what a threat.
Which is like an up yours, you know.
Yeah, which I think is like supposedly a little bit like in the game where it goes, I think it is.
Yeah.
But it looks so lame. You don't even see it. The camera is such a shitty angle that you don't even see the full arm.
I know.
So he does that, and that pisses Bison off. And then Bison is throwing all these soldiers down. And he says, like, oh, so you think you can stop me? Me, the evil M. Bison. Oh, look at me, I'm so evil. That's basically what he's doing. and then, for some stupid-ass reason, Van Damme basically starts saying, I'm coming for you all. Do not worry, I'm coming for you. Charlie, buddy, I'm coming for you. Like, why? Why purposely name your friend, who has clearly been kidnapped by the bad guy? Why did you say something like that? Strategically, that doesn't work.
Yeah, because obviously Bison would hear that and he would say, right, oh, this is your friend, is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'll just kill him. What are you going to do about that? But he does something worse. He does something worse, not just because it's terrible. It's also because it fucking ruins a whole video game character while we're at it. So he gets Charlie. And you say, and when you saw it, think, oh, it's supposed to be Charlie Nash.
Well, I think that they combine those characters, didn't they? Because Charlie is supposed to be Guile's best friend.
Yes.
But they turned him into Blanca in this, didn't they?
Yeah, basically they turned Charlie into Carlos Blanca. And so anyone who knows video games, basically Blanca's supposed to be this big green, almost mutated monster that has electrical powers, right? From Brazil. Meanwhile, when that happened, right, we suddenly cut back to a random cage fight thing. So this is where the things get a bit complicated. The majority, half the movie is shot in Australia, and the other half of the movie is shot in Thailand.
Yeah.
Right? And so obviously you do a lot of this Thai tropes, which is in this case the underground sort of like, kickboxing, kickfighting kind of thing, right? And this is where we're introduced to probably the thing that frustrated you the most is everything involving Ryu, Ken, and Sagat.
Yeah.
So you want to explain what the heck happened here?
Well, it seems like you're introduced to them and they're in the middle of some kind of deal.
Yes.
Like some kind of arms deal or something like that. And immediately you're thinking, why are Ryu and Ken in this situation? Why would they be like that? And like, it just angers me so much because, they're both supposed to be like masters of like some kind of karate. I can't remember the name of it. And all their interest really is to master their martial arts. And, be the best at that martial art. They're not interested in dealing arms and kind of like...
I know, like, they seem to be like, oh, we're smuggling guns here. And it's like, why? None of this makes sense at all.
And the kind of relationship that they have with Sagat is almost like, well, we don't like you, but we want to make a deal with you kind of thing.
Yeah.
It always seems to be like they're kind of like not fully they don't fully hate him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're kind of like, well, if it's going to benefit us, we'll go along with Sagat kind of thing. And it's just the opposite of what should be happening with these characters.
I know. It's it's like Bizarro world. It's the complete opposite. So Sagat, who is very tiny in this movie. In the video game, Sagat is supposed to be like 7'5" and the world's best kickboxer, and he is your favorite character, right?
Yeah, to play with, because he's like a great martial artist, but very very strong as well. So he's kind of got both skills.
He's got
there.
the best of both worlds, basically.
And he's a really intimidating looking character on the screen. He's like takes up like the whole screen.
He takes up half the screen, like legit. He's massive.
And in this movie, they just seem to get any guy with a shaved head and put an eye patch on him.
And there you go. And basically, he now looks like, again, going for the James Bond thing that clearly the director was going for. You are my number one guy, basically, right? He is. You are my number one guy. You are basically number one henchman. So guys become number one henchman, and that's it, right? Vega.
Vega's one of your favourites.
Vega is my favourite
In the game, not in the movie.
No. But in the game, he was my favourite character. He was just so cool. All right.
Look at Ken.
What the fuck is Ken? He's not even blonde.
Real safe.
And Ryu, or Ryu, that's how do you pronounce it? Ryu or Ryu? Ryu, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't look remotely like the grizzled sort of, I have been training for many years to finally combat against Sagat.
Just the fact that they got any sort
just got an Asian
Japanese guy. He's just like, yeah.
It's not he's even Japanese, it's just an Asian dude.
What's the matter, gentlemen? Surely you're not afraid of your own weapons. Preto!
I remember Street Fighter, the game with all the guns in it. What a bunch of balls.
Toys. I like my games live and in living color.
Finally, some action. Go on, kick his butt. How did you forget? Cool, that's pretty cool. Double kick for the windows. Okay, so Sagat wants to buy guns off Ryu and Ken so that he can then sell the guns again to Bison.
Yeah.
Couldn't Ken and Ryu just go and sell the guns to Bison? Why is Sagat in the middle of this? Anyway, right. So, obviously, Sagat they say, oh, we'll make an agreement, we'll go and get the guns. And then to the, oh, we've already found your guns. Look, we've already found your guns. And they say, oh, we're going to shoot. Oh, what are you? Are you afraid of your own weapons, are you? Turns out the guns are toy guns. And so we get into, which is fucking stupid anyway. So basically, Ryu and Ken were trying to out-swindle Sagat so he get all the money and then go off and do something else. But then why are they doing this? It's not explained.
This was, at the time, those popular toys were like those Nerf guns. And stuff,
it looked like those Nerf guns, like pew, pew, pew. But they weren't like proper darts, these ones, weren't they? They're like proper balls. Yeah. Like just proper ball pellets.
It almost like seems as if, you know when they get shot with the soft balls?
Yeah.
It almost seemed like the music should go like, whap, whap, whap.
What the hell? So basically, it's already null and void of this. And so it's like, oh, you're going to try and swindle me, are you? Let's go. And they go for a fight. And this fight scene isn't too bad, but it's something I really didn't notice about this movie. And I'm going to look at the facts, because I feel the facts also follow suit, is that not a lot of the actors seem to actually know martial arts.
No, if you notice when you're watching the movie, a lot of it is cleverly edited in the fight sequences so that they're trying to make it look better than it actually is.
Yeah.
Because you can always tell when you watch a good martial arts movie, a lot of it is in like a wide shot and you see everything happening there and then. And then now and again you might cut to a close-up. But if you keep cutting to like various kicks and very close-ups, you can avoid any real stuff happening.
And that's the thing, is a lot of this movie's like that.
Yeah.
And it's just because it couldn't find people who are generally martial artists. And one thing here is that the cast was actually trained and handled by a Hollywood trainer and world karate champion Benny Ordez, right? So he was supposedly there, right? And Charlie Pacini, who was also hired as a stunt coordinator. So you got these two people, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the problem as to why a lot of the fights seem very sloppy is because that he took the job with the condition that he would need ample time to train the cast, right?
And I bet he didn't get that.
He didn't get that. He agreed. However, plans were changed when it was learned that Raul Julia was dying from cancer, right? So the initial plans were to shoot Julia's less intensive scenes first, while the rest of the cast would be training. However, upon seeing Julia, who looks quite skeletal in this at the minute, he doesn't look healthy. He realised that he could not show him to his current weakened state, and so they had to so they had no time to train any of the actors, which is why a lot of the fight scenes were either interrupted or cut really rubbishly. Right? Now, apparently it's because the director, a lot of situations occurred with this, actually, that reason why the movie didn't go well, right? So, number one, originally he wanted to remove any supernatural elements because he wanted to be based as realistically as possible. This is what the director originally wanted. Capcom argued, saying, no, we need something of this sort, which is why M. Bison does have M. Bison powers, right?
Yeah.
Also, they used the M. Bison powers as an excuse because Raul Julia was sick with cancer, so it was a way of doing this so he could still have a cool fight scene without having to do too much choreography, right? Also, and this is what fascinated me and really sort of explains why the movie really did not go well, right? When filming fell behind schedule in Bangkok, D'Souza contacted the studio bosses to request additional time to complete the work. However, Capcom had their heart set on Christmas because they wanted to sell it with merchandise. So the studio said no, right? This forced D'Souza to making arguably the most contentious decision in order to stick to schedule. While he and half the crew filmed Street Fighter drama-led heavy dialogue scenes during their stay in Australia, Percy and the other half of the crew would go out and film stunt-led sequences with different sound stages simultaneously, which means why there's so many goddamn random war sequences in this movie, because they didn't have enough time to have more casting, because Capcom saying, we want Christmas, we want Christmas, we want Christmas. We want Santa to give you M. Bison dolls. The setup eventually led to a heated confrontation between the director and all the fight choreography after the former learned that the latter had failed to incorporate many of the Street Fighter character's signature moves in the action sequences, arguing that they wouldn't look realistic. So in other words, it basically said that the fight choreographer actually removed a lot of the signature fight scenes from it, like the signature moves, because he said it wouldn't look realistic enough. So not the director. The fight choreographer actually said, you know what? No, we're not having the spinning kicks. We're not going to have sonic booms. We're not going to have all this bullshit.
The thing is, the people who want to watch this movie and are fans of Street Fighter, they don't want it to be realistic.
Exactly.
They want people to be flying around. They want hurricane kicks and stuff.
Ooh, he's taking off the mask. Oh, he's dashing.
Vega's supposed to be blonde as well.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a beautiful blonde Spaniard.
Yeah.
It's a rarity, actually. It's supposed to be gorgeous.
I think it's perhaps meant to be bleach blonde.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I'm so vain and gorgeous. And he knows it. That's the thing.
Why are you making me watch this?
Research.
Come on, get to the fight.
And Vega wouldn't fight without his mask on.
At all.
That's his main thing. He doesn't want his face to get
Because he is
damaged.
so gorgeous.
Yeah. Why is that a tank?
That's a fucking tank with what looks like nuclear missiles on it.
You're all under arrest.
What happens here is that basically with Ken and Ryu having a fight and they do one cool bit, which is really cool, where they kick two guys through a window. And they're like, wah! And they both kick him out, and Zagat's like, I'm impressed. You're going in the cage. And so he gets Ryu and throws him into the cage to fight Vega, right? And this is actually a little funny interaction, but it's not how these characters will react at all. But they are there's still a little bit of fun here, and it looks and feels like, yeah, we're going to get a fight. But it's all talk, because again, Sagat's talking about backstory, like how I was called the Iron Fist, and I was the best kickboxer in the world until I retired, and now Vega is the best fighter in the world. Yeah. And okay, bollocks. And then you got Ryu with a fucking sword.
No, and it's like, if in that situation, if they said, Ryu, you can have this sword if you want, he would think that he would be able to beat Vega without a sword.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need weapons.
And that's the thing is, he does this, and he's doing a bit of showing off. But then it's like, what are you doing that for? And then when he decides to do then, I think it's just a very fancy way of saying, I don't need this sword, chucks it, and throws it behind Vega. It's all saying I don't need that. But it's like, why the fuck did you show it off?
And the sword is the worst prop I've ever seen.
So plastic.
It looks like when you have a child's play.
Yeah.
And they make the swords for pirates or something.
Out of cardboard. And so Vega, who's about to put on the claws and the mask, and the thing with Vega, he doesn't take off his mask because he's supposed to be gorgeous.
Yeah.
Vega is supposed to be so beautiful, but a beautiful fighting machine that he doesn't want his face to be damaged. So that's why he does that, right? He says, fuck it. You're not going to have a sword, even though you did this fancy show-off bullshit. I'm going to do that. And in the moment they're about to fight and have what could have been an actually really good fight scene, what happens?
I can't even remember.
A fucking tank.
The tank. Yeah, the tank just bursts through.
A fucking tank goes in.
And Van Damme just goes, you're all under arrest.
That's how it fucking works. It's not even a regular tank. It's a tank with what looks like nuclear weapons attached to it. If that is your way of stopping an underground fight club, that is overly excessive. Sagat, Vega, Ryu, Ken, and everyone else are all thrown into the slammer.
It's a weird kind of... It loosely tries to mould the two storylines going on, doesn't it, at that point? And it's like, Guile would be too distracted with the M. Bison thing to worry about these guys at this particular time. He just kind of... But it kind of... massively shoehorns it.
And that's the thing.
With attack. It frustrates me. It really does. I don't know how many different ways I can say it.
I know. That's the thing is, right, as you're going along, we're introduced to all these characters, right? Like, for example, we're properly introduced to Cammy, because now Cammy is in the meeting room as well with all the other people. And we're also secretly, and it takes you a long time to realise this, it took me nearly half the movie to realise this, that T-Hawk's in this. Do you know what's really, what is annoying? Do you know the guy next to him? That guy, the guy with the patch on his head, right? Yeah. You know who that's supposed to be?
No.
T-Hawk. What? That's supposed to be T-Hawk.
Why?
I don't know. Because he's apparently Native American, that's it.
And it's going down.
That's T-Hawk. Fucking T-Hawk. T-Hawk! What's happening here is then they realise that Ken and Ryu are there, right? And said, aha, so those were with Sagat and Vega, but perhaps we can manipulate them. So Guile randomly takes these two and says some kind of weird-ass bullshit thing. And this is where we realise that Guile has a really stupid, over-elaborate plot to infiltrate Bison's lair. Even though it's not that hard. Like, it's really not that hard, people. So he tells Ken and Ryu, by the sound of things, to fight. So like all the prisoners are being shipped over, and Ken and Ryu fight. And we're looking at this bit and think, this is bollocks. Like, they wouldn't be this bickery, right? And they get a key, and they try and launch and escape. Now, they do this in a weird fashion. They try to escape. And then it looks like Ken shoots Guile. Like, immediately, and kills him off.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, like, oh, a bit of relief. He's gone now. We can focus on the other characters. But, and then it's really confusing. It's starting to hurt my head a bit.
But everyone was obviously thinking, the viewers at home would be thinking, well, Guile can't be dead. It's Van Damme, for fuck's sake. So,
but then,
at any moment, you're expecting him to, come to life at some stage.
But it would have actually been quite ingenious to have killed Jean-Claude Van Damme within the first 20 minutes of the movie. And you're like, oh my God. So this movie's not about him at all.
Yeah.
Ingenious.
Like the psycho switch, like Hitchcock.
Exactly. Now that would have been...
That would be too good. That wouldn't...
That would have been, that would have been too good. But no, right? So Ken and Ryu, Sagat and Vega are all going to Bison somehow, right? Guile is dead, and Chung-Li has now put a tracking beacon on the truck where Sagat's going to go to Bison or whatever the fuck it is, right? Okay, now let's actually talk about the rest of it. So we have Chung-Li, we haven't talked about. Chung-Li is a journalist, right?
Yeah. But also a ninja, apparently.
A fucking ninja. The worst ninja. Because it doesn't even look like a ninja outfit. So she goes in and sneaks in, trying to find what seems to be another beaker, like another tracking beacon or something in the facility. In the meantime, we're introduced to his two lackeys. Now, what are her two lackeys? Do you want to tell me who they are?
Balrog,
and
E-Honda.
Explain to me who these are. Because I know what they're like in the game. Who the fuck are they in the movie?
Oh, they're literally just her right-hand man, and they work for the news company, don't they?
Yeah.
Balrog's the cameraman.
Yes.
And I don't know, what does E-Honda do?
E-Honda just does machines or something. I don't know. But the thing that bugs me the most is E-Honda. He is supposed to be a giant Japanese sumo. He is a Samoan in this.
Yeah.
Here we go, finally, some action. Can I say, for a movie that's called Street Fighter, we haven't seen a lot of fighting.
In the street.
In the streets. Or anything that looks like a street fight.
It's just like... they just put the Street Fighter name on it, haven't they?
They've literally just stamped it on and just assumed this is the case. Because, Street Fighter. You remember the famous plot about the evil warlord and the war-torn country? Yeah, I remember that. Good grief.
Welcome, warlords of Shadaloo.
Because aren't ninjas a Japanese thing rather than Chinese?
Yeah.
And she's Chinese.
Yes, on top of that as well, that she's not really being a ninja, because I can see her face, for one.
Yeah.
Two, she's not really being sneaky that well. Like, she's just dressed in black just because. It's not even dark, it was like daytime. Worst ninja ever.
She looks more like Arabian, like that should be on like a Turkish Delight advert.
It's like, here, as I give you a belly dance, observe my wonderful treats. Good grief.
Fries, Turkish Delight, full of Eastern pride.
Oh my god. Just imagine that just Chipol with Charlie. Oh man, that's awful. That was brilliant.
If I didn't give you an interview when I was alive, no way I'm gonna...
Here's a question. How long has it been lying there?
Of course.
How long has it been lying there, faking his own death, waiting for someone to go, it's alright. It must have been, what, 2 days? Oh my god.
Just conveniently waiting for Chun-Li, obviously.
Clearly it's like, this is clearly the plot. This bit did make me laugh. Right, so Chun-Li goes into the facility goes into the regular like army facility to try and find the other tracker. And they go into the morgue. Now, do you want to explain what happened in the morgue?
Well, Van Damme has been waiting under the sheet, like ready to go ta-da, ta-da, like for a long time.
Yes!
Like the worst prank ever, like a Halloween prank.
I know!
Like, and it's like, how long was he there?
Well, because this could have been like hours, a day, 2 days, where you just lying there having a nap.
And this is a perfect example of like something that would be in a bad movie, because anyone with any kind of intellect would watch that and think that this just wouldn't happen. It's only happened just so that he could surprise Chun-Li in that
Exactly.
sequence. That's the only reason that works for that scene, but like it doesn't work in terms of logic. Because you can imagine like if Chun-Li didn't do that, he would just be like waiting there for ages, like twiddling his thumbs.
Twiddling thumbs. It's like, a bit hungry. Hey, anyone got a sandwich? This is your Street Fighter movie, right? Your Street Fighter movie has got very little fight sequences and Guile pretending to be dead in a morgue. So this all happens, and Chun-Li is sort of been taken out of the facility for literally just breaking and entering and all that bullshit, right? Suddenly, we are magically teleported to sort of like M. Bison's tent.
Yeah.
Like he's having a circus party for some fucking reason. I don't know why exactly that is happening. Like, it's just sort of...
Like a filler scene.
It's such a filler scene, because... Is this the thing to exchange the guns, for example? Is this their way of exchanging the guns?
Yeah, because doesn't that scene end with Sagat like saying, "I knew I shouldn't have trusted you, M. Bison."
So,
like...
yeah, because this is where it revealed that basically M. Bison's insane. Now, here's an interesting factoid.
He's got his bison dollars.
Exactly. Here's an interesting factoid. Raul Julia, for researching M. Bison, completely ignored the video games, which makes a bit of sense now, we're talking performance. But instead, he researched various dictators and crime lords and all their lives and personalities and mimicked many of their traits to incorporate into M. Bison's character. Notably, Mussolini, Stalin, Pablo Escobar, and also Adolf Hitler's love of art.
Oh, yeah, because he had that painting, didn't he?
What
Abstract.
It was him painted like a clown. Yeah. Like, what the fuck was that? Right? Julia also approached the role in a Shakespearean tone, looking at Bison in the same type of villain as Richard III, which makes perfect sense as to why all his lines are delivered like incredibly hammy. Because there's a bit, one of my favourite parts of the movie is when M. Bison first finds out that Guile is dead, right? And Guile and so like, oh, I want to kill him with my own two hands, with the art of unarmed combat. But why? Why is like this? And he's saying this amazing speech over this shitty miniature of Bisonopolis.
You can see it behind him, can't you? Like,
it's so stupid. And then he's saying it so like seriously and Shakespeareanly and so hammy at the same time. It's actually epic. And then it pans up and you see Bisonopolis, which is just a giant fucking skull. Yo, you're not evil. You're not a madman. Of course you are.
To face Guile personally on the battlefield.
You can't even fight.
One gentleman warrior to another.
the city is called Bisonopolis.
I love it. How
I
original,
would
right?
snap his spine.
Oh.
The road not taken. Why? Why do they still call me a warlord? And mad?
I couldn't think why.
I don't know at all.
Create the perfect genetic soldier.
Yep.
Not for power, not for evil, but for good.
Like he's popping his head through the own model.
Carlos Blanca will be the first of many. They shall march out of my laboratory and sweep away every adversary, every creed, every nation, until the very planet is in the loving grip of the Pax Bisonica.
Wow.
And then peace will reign in the world, and all humanity shall bow to me in humble gratitude.
Bisonopolis. That is amazeballs.
That was beautiful.
Oh, Zangief.
Zangief has just become the comic relief here, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's just here to say a couple of jokes. Oh, man.
Just be Russian.
This big Soviet Union wrestler, and now he's just a pats.
Should you talk about Dalsim?
Oh, we'll talk about Dalsim in a minute. So, right, actually, let's go back to this, because we've missed a major point of it, because I keep fucking forgetting this exists. I forget this movie exists. So, when Charlie Blanca is discovered, right, he takes him down and puts him in this into this chamber. And and there is a scientist.
It was a bit sort of like, it's weird because it's almost like a Bruce Banner type character, but he's, instead of like transforming himself into a monster, he's transforming someone else into a monster.
Exactly. And it's like, and the thing is, before we describe how this character is like in the movie, how is this character like in the video games? This is Dalsim we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, he's just, he has like shrunken skulls around his head, around his like neck and stuff, and he's like, everything is like, he's like a yoga guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's supposed to be like this yogi who is actually entwined with the energies of the world, which is why he can float, which is why he can stretch his limbs, which is why he has yoga flame and yoga teleport and stuff like that, right?
And that is not anything to do with this character in this
At all.
movie. No.
Describe Dalsim in this movie.
He's just like an Indian scientist.
Who happens to have, and it's the thing, he looks like he's chained up from the neck and hands like a slave, which makes it apparently make you look like the bracelets and the necklace that Dalsim wears in the game. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
what
it
it
really
is.
is.
So basically, this Dalsim is a scientist picked up by M. Bison to transform this guy into the ultimate super genetic soldier.
Do you think that Dalsim in this movie is supposed to be a bad guy but he seems like he's kind of been forced to kind of. Like,
I think he's being forced into it. I feel like he's been kidnapped. Like M. Bison goes, "You, sir, are a fantastic man of science. I will take you, and you can create my genetic army."
But he goes along with it for a long time before. Actually, I will kind of make him a little bit good as well.
A little bit good, right? The thing is, the transformation of Blanca in this movie is actually really garbage, right? Because number one, when he finally shows off, remember a little time later in the movie, after a couple of really scenes, and then you come back to him, suddenly he's bright green and got the hair that looks ridiculous. But where the fuck did that transformation come from? Wasn't changing that much.
And the thing is, what it seems to me like the machine is supposed to just all it's doing is it's showing him violent images.
Yes.
And sort of images of distress and pain and that's for some reason increasing his muscle mass.
It's apparently.
But why does he go green with orange hair?
That's the thing, right? There seems to be genetic DNA mutagens or something. Now that's probably going into the machine, but it doesn't explain how it works. So is it because he's getting so mad and angry and pissed off that his anger mixed with DNA mutagens is making him green and orange ginger? And on top of that, it's saying muscle mass at 45%. He doesn't look that muscly at the end of it. He looked just a bit. It's just like a guy who went to the gym a little bit.
Yeah.
He should have transformed into something like a John Cena or some kind of bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger size, right?
Yeah, he's just gone green with orange hair.
That's all it is. With the worst prosthetics. The worst fucking prosthetics. And he has no electrical powers. Because Blanca, that was the cool thing about Blanca. Blanca had electrical powers.
I know. The way they seem to have got away with that is that if you noticed that he grabbed people and he kind of shoved them into electrical equipment.
That's about it.
And it looked like they were being electrocuted, but that it was actually the equipment they were being shoved into rather than him electrifying them.
Yeah.
My signs.
I hate what they've done with this.
Tell you what.
Who is that supposed to be?
Dalsim.
That's supposed to be Dalsim!
That should cheer you up.
What did you do? He's supposed to be a yogi, and it's this power of stretching.
It's just here's an Indian guy. We'll call him
Dalsim and make him a scientist. What is this?
See for yourself.
images of pain and suffering.
Bison's favourite channel.
He's not psychotic.
Oh.
You take risks, Doctor.
Ooh. That's how you DNA mutagens! So Blanca's now just like a scientific cocktail and not like this weird thing they found
I
in
don't
the
think
forest.
Blanca's supposed to be a bad guy.
No, he's
I think
supposed to be a good guy.
he's supposed to be a victim of an experiment, but it doesn't completely transform his mind so that he's a monster, I don't think.
Yeah.
He's become this monster, but I think he can still control his mind. A bit like the Hulk, like when he kind of, was able to become a hero, yeah,
but here's the thing that's bugging me about the movie in general. It's like they get the characters, right? But they pick on the wrong part of the character to keep and remove everything else.
I'm sorry, I listened.
Like, with Ryu and Ken, it's like an American and a Japanese guy who know Kung Fu. That's it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think it's karate.
Yeah, karate, basically.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like that's all they picked up from it. Guile finds Blanca. And this is actually probably the darkest scene in the whole movie. And do you want to explain that for me? Because I'm still flabbergasted.
Well, first of all, it's very surprising that he manages to recognise him.
Yeah, because he looks fugly.
Because, he's bright green and got orange hair.
Yeah.
And straight away he's like, Charlie, it's me.
Charlie, it's me. It's like, who the fuck are you?
And then, I can't remember, does does like Charlie actually say "kill me" or something?
No,
Or, like,
he says something like, friend, you're my friend.
and like yeah, because he wants help, doesn't he? And he's
Yeah.
like, help me. And
Help me.
and Kyle's like, okay, I will help you. I'm going to shoot you.
That is so dark. It's like, it goes like, I'm going to shoot you and then kill the bastard who did this to you. It's like, where did you jump to this conclusion? That is like,
And luckily, like Dalsim appears, doesn't
yeah. Luckily, Dalsim appears, right?
And says, no, I've made him so that he understands good as well as evil. Like,
Yeah, but they sort of like saying, how can he when he looks like this? But it's like, you jumped quite a few leaps.
there's a lot of prejudice going on there. He looks like this. He must be a monster. Bang.
Pretty much, because I'm thinking any other times, like, it's like maybe you could talk to him, maybe you could ask for help, maybe there's a cure, maybe you can be human. Don't literally jump to, oh, you're my best friend, I'm gonna shoot you in the head. And then later on in the movie, when he's going to try and get Blanca, Dalsim is back. This time, Dalsim's lost his hair. And he's
Doesn't explain it.
Don't explain how he lost his hair. Just lost his hair. He's lost his shirt. Now he looks a little bit like a yogi, and he's sitting there cross-legged, like stroking Blanca in the back of the head, going. He says he doesn't want to live any longer. It's like, well, so what happened here? It's like saying it has to be by choice. Only a choice makes the man, or whatever it is. So that's a yoga phrase, or whatever it is. But it's like the one that's bollocks. Two, so you condemn him for trying to shoot him, which is dark as fuck it is anyway. But then, when he goes to try and saves Blanca, you say, no, he's not fit to be in this world. Fucking bollocks! Right, so, we've gotten to the point that they're all in this sort of tent. And so this is when we realise that M. Bison's crazy, because we've already now realised all this stuff has happened. He's gone absolutely crazy. He said, like, why would you want money if I can give you half control of a country? I'm like, oh, okay. And
the guy's like,
yeah, I can control half a country. And then he opens up this box. And this is where we reveal what bison dollars look like. And bison dollars are literally just really cheap Monopoly money with M. Bison's face on it. And it's like, and it's just playing around. It's like, no, this will cost a lot more money once I kidnap people like the Queen and shit. So, and then Scott's like, you are crazy, man! And this is where they start the argument and the split. In the meantime, there is a weird-ass magic show with Chung Li, Bell E. Honda, and Balrog dressed like Arabs for no reason. And he does really interesting, like, magic trick with a barrel? Why? I don't know, right? They go and do that.
oh, the barrel had like Capcom on.
That was an actually cool quote. And also, the barrel is another hint, because you remember in Street Fighter 2, you can kick all the barrels.
Yeah, like with a bonus round.
Yeah, I love the bonus round. Like, that's, you know what we needed? We needed a moment where E. Honda gets so pissed off he'd, like, destroyed a car. You know? We needed more of that. We needed someone who's like, you know what, I'm going to do some training. I'm going to kick some barrels. Ooh. Yes, that is a gun. Yes, that is a gun. Hello, it's a gun.
Yeah, they look like they don't know what they're doing.
It's like, ooh, yes, this is definitely a gun. Pass it over. Maybe you know how to do it more. Oh, this definitely is a gun. Of course. Ooh. I like half a country, although I don't know if I want to be half a Bisonopolis. If you were going to name a country or a city, what would you call it?
Meanwhile, I see the color of your mouth.
If it's even if it's like something stupid like after yourself, because I'd call mine Chiptopia 100%.
Chiptopia.
I so would. My God. Why make this so elaborate? Like, if you just want to blow them up, just blow them up, right?
Make it like a shitty video.
Why do this over-elaborate plan?
Quick, change the channel.
Oh, Zangief. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah! Woo! I love the bison dollars. I think bison dollars are probably my favourite part because it's like this is
One bison dollar is worth 5
British pounds. Once I kidnapped the Queen. That's not how currency works. Oh, I'm going to kidnap the Queen. Now my money costs more than your money. What the fuck was that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where to begin with stuff like that.
I don't know where to begin with this movie. It's really hard to go through. So they're having a confrontation and go, aha! And then Ken and on this same time, Ken and Ryu are following Chung-Li, and they realize that Chung-Li is sort of like saying, oh, we have a plan now because, you know, M. Bison, like, destroyed my village. M. Bison destroyed my village. M. Bison's crew destroyed my sumo career, and so is my boxing career. Those two don't seem as strong as they destroyed my village.
And the thing is, I didn't even pick up on those ones. The only resentment towards Bison I picked up on, obviously, the obvious Chun-Li one. Like,
yeah, and that actually makes sense. And actually canon, because that's actually part of the Street Fighter lore.
Yeah.
You know, because M. Bison, while he was trying to take over and make his country bigger, he actually went and killed her dad and her family and her village. So she does have genuine excuse to beat M. Bison up, right? So Ken and Ryu find out about the plan, but they're told to keep quiet. Yeah. Ken and Ryu go back in the middle of Sagat and M. Bison's crew, literally about to like knock heads at each other, right? Like they are literally just about to just wallop, right? And just as it's about to happen, a video plays. Do you want to explain what the fuck this happened?
Oh, the video. They've actually gone. They got to the effort of making that video for Bison.
Yeah, they made the effort to find to make a video, put like a live feed to the van, have all this extra broadcasting shit hiding in a box in the tent, so that they can have a van full of explosives run into the other van full of explosives. When what happens is the live feed happens and they just go when the van started to hit, and Zangief goes, quickly change the channel,
because that's going to change what's happening in life.
Changing life. Like, oh, the van's not coming towards us now. Oh, that's a relief. So meanwhile, everyone's sort of doing their own thing and everyone's trying to escape. And in the same time, Chung-Li has her moment. Chung-Li's got actually one of the best bits in the movie, and it's because it's the only part that actually looks like a fighting game.
Yeah, and she actually has the outfit. It's a bit like Tomb Raider, but that's a bit like Street Fighter. But that's the weird thing because it's like that's what M. Bison is chose for.
Yeah, because it's really like seedy. Because it takes basically it's like you come into my boudoir, you wear this outfit. It's like, okay.
But in the game, that's supposed to be the outfit that she chooses.
Very sort of like, it's sexy but traditional, I guess, right? So it's like traditional formal wear almost, right? So there you go, she's shooting the thing, and she says like, and she goes through this really long, passionate rant about, oh, how you destroyed my village, and how I have been learning for martial arts from 3 different continents, how I've been waiting for 20 years to finally get a hand on you. And I love this, because then M. Bison goes over and says, for you, it was the worst day of your life. For me, it was a Tuesday.
And he's just belittling her all the time and like saying like, yeah, you're nothing kind of thing. And then all of a sudden she comes alive and is like...
And what's funny is all this to the sound at the beginning of what seems to be like weird, smooth jazz.
Yeah.
And so finally, she goes and kicks his ass.
Oh, there's also, in that scene, it pans up and you see like a skeleton chandelier.
Yes! That is the most goth thing I have ever seen. It is so badass. But it makes you wonder, whose skulls are those?
I don't know. Oh, God, it's like, it looks like something from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah!
At 1,000 paces.
I'm sorry.
This is so weird with like the chilled out groove.
Spinning bad kick! In a minute, it's gotta be.
It's gotta be, please. Thing is though, this is so weird. She's opening up and say like, you know, you destroyed my village. but then it's like romantic music playing, and M. Bison dressed in like the weirdest dressing gown.
It was Tuesday.
Yes! For me, it was Tuesday.
I like the fact he's got like different hats for different situations.
That was a sex hat.
Yeah.
That was a casual flirting hat.
That's exactly what I wanted you to think. Yes!
Yeah! Yes! Finally! That is awesome. She was doing fine! Didn't need you!
At least Chun-Li gets to do some cool fighting.
I know. But when did M. Bison need a panic room? He's supposed to be M. fucking Bison! Like the hardest boss in the game!
Yeah, he's just meant to be like really...
Powerful, with electric powers and shit. This is actually becoming quite difficult for me to go through the plot, because the plot is now becoming very difficult to sort of explain without getting annoyed, frustrated, or bored.
Yeah, I mean, we've explained most of it now.
Yeah, the only last bit we need to explain is the speech from that Guile gives.
Yeah.
The speech, where he gets told by the armed, like the Allied forces, and he's told by a very typical British lawyer, who's like, we're going to negotiate. Go and tell your crew that the war is over. Whatever it is. I fucking love the speech, though. It's so terrible. And you can see that he's so high on cocaine right now and only thinking about bagging Kylie Minogue. Like, that's what literally he's thinking. That's all he cares about at the minute. And he doesn't want to be there.
And the thing is, he's telling his men,
Yeah.
so that, the war is over and we
You can go home.
and the soldiers are looking like, oh, they're a bit sad. But the thing is, in real life,
Yeah.
if soldiers were told they could go home, they would be like, fucking off.
Fucking hell, relieved! We don't have to fight!
They
Hooray!
wouldn't be like, oh no, I kind of wanted to fight.
I really wanted to beat some people up. Oh no!
Kind of wanted to risk my life and nearly die,
It's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible.
I just received new orders. Our superiors say the war is cancelled. We can all go home. Bison is getting paid up for his crimes. And our friends who have died here will have died for nothing. But we can all go home.
We can all go home. Okay.
Meanwhile, ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up. But we can all go home.
So, can we go home or?
I'm not going home.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard.
Yes!
The next Bison wannabe is gonna feel it.
Yes!
Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Yay! That was the worst speech! Oh, it doesn't even look like he's in the room. The speech is ridiculous, because I wouldn't be moved by that speech. The speech is like, well, I am going to go and kick M. Bison's ass so hard that the next M. Bison wannabe will feel it too. And it's like, what the fuck are you on? Oh, I forgot, you're on many drugs. And
it's literally just a bit like what he did earlier in the film, where it kind of ends on up yours, Bison.
This speech rallies them so much, they all go onto their super stealth boats. See, the more I'm talking about the plot, how does any of this feel like a fighting game? Like, we're going into stealth boats, and we're going to take down an evil warlord with guns.
Yeah, it just it frustrates me.
It really is. So finally they all go, and he goes on the stealth boat, and the stealth boat turned out to be really fucking stupid because you can hide from radar, but you can't fucking hide from anyone with a camera because you can see just like the water going. You're like, you're not very stealthy, mate. So you basically got Guile, Cammy, and T-Hawk. But getting shot down in this boat, and they all go and infiltrate. And this is where finally everything kicks off, because finally Guile goes into the temple, starts beating the crap out of everybody, right? And now everyone's running amok. Ken and Ryu are fighting against Sagat and Vega, where you mentioned there's a very tiny Hadouken. Like a very tiny ass flashy Hadouken.
Underwhelming blue flash out the hands.
Right. Best part though, E Honda and Zangief are wrestling.
And they're just smashing through. First they smash through what looks like a paper floor, and then they just smash. They wrestle around a bit and smash through a couple of walls.
Yeah.
And then it literally at one stage they just go like, "No, E Honda, we got to go now." And he's like, "Gotta go." And you just
oh, you missed the best bit when they're fighting on like Bisonopolis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you can hear like they're making noises like Godzilla. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
Forgot about
and that's the thing. E Honda then goes like, "Gotta go," and just leaves. It's like, that's it. That's how you want to fight. And then Zangief is sort of there like, it's like, oh no, what's happened?
Dignity of a fighting
Raul Julia's hamming it up again.
You shall be killed by a wild beast.
Beast.
A beast born of my own genius. Raise the incubation chamber.
It's so great. Look what he's done there. He's made like a fucking cool ass walkway full of knives and shit. Whoever's Bison's interior designer has put a lot of effort into this. Yeah! No one jumps that far!
absolutely ridiculous.
That was amazeballs! Like he was ready to pounce and he fucking dove! Finally, there's some actual fighting. Yeah! Fucking E Honda.
Yeah, this is when E Honda and Zangief just smash through walls.
It's fucking good. Oh, he's ready. Go on, do the palms of death. Fucking A.
The wrestlers go at it.
They're finally.
Power slap.
Yeah!
That ground just looked like paper.
That was legit paper. Maybe that was actually just a patch of paper that happened just to land on that piece of shit. Finally, we get the showdown. The showdown between M. Bison and Guile. Right? And you're thinking, this has got to be good, right? The whole movie is surrounded on this fight. There needs to be a good fight. And it's all right.
Well, what's funny is, like, when Guile first comes out, that...
Yes, he goes out of the pod!
flies out in a flying kick.
He's rocketed! Like, he was on rocket boots. And he just goes, wah! And just kicks literally M. Bison in the face. And doing some signature moves from the game. So he's doing like a couple of roundhouse kicks, a couple of flash kicks.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's getting his comeuppance on M. Bison, right? And then M. Bison gets flung into a piece of machinery and gets electrocuted. Mm. Now, I'm not sure it's because we missed it or it's just very terribly explained. But then...
There seems to be some kind of life support going on, like computer, like detects it's M. Bison and sort of brings him back to life.
And we don't. Where's this coming from? Is it coming from the suit? Is it coming from the computers? It just happens to be that he just magic.
Because it's all happening on one of the monitors, so
yeah.
that would suggest to me that the machinery that he's gone into is what it's curing him. But
That's so weird. It's like, no, round 2. You need a round 2. It's like round 2. And so we need to revive him somehow. And now he has magical bison powers, which I have to admit, Raul Julia's fucking loving. Raul Julia loves that he can fucking fly. And one of the best lines in the movie, so it's like, so you see me as a god? No, I am better than a god. I am more powerful. I can fly and strike you down like lightning. And you're like, whoa. He's eating the walls with that speech. Ah! Yeah! Yeah! Finally, a little bit of action.
This is merely superconductor electromagnetism. Sure, you've heard of it. It levitates bullet trains from Tokyo to Osaka. It levitates my desk, where I ride the saddle of the world. And it levitates me.
Yes! Oh, this looks so stupid.
Something wrong, Colonel? Come here prepared to fight a madman, and instead you found a god?
Yeah, the cheese! Oh. You can see Raul Julia's enjoying himself doing that bit. He's just like, wee!
You still refuse to accept my godhood. Keep your own god.
My godhood. Fact.
This might be a good time to pray to him.
Yes!
But I beheld Satan, and he fell from heaven like lightning!
Yes! Wow! Oh my god, that one line.
you always, in every Van Damme film,
Yeah.
you get that, like, repeating slow motion roundhouse kick thing, don't you?
Yeah, it's as if that one was like so powerful that it represents like 5 kicks in one kick. And he's just fucking flying, going, punches.
Flying around, electrocuting Guile.
And then finally, Guile just decides, like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking kick you. And so he kicked a roundhouse kick.
The signature Van Damme repeating roundhouse.
Woo, 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 and then kicks right in the face, goes for the screens, and not only does this kill him, the whole base explodes. And so everyone sort of escapes this thing. In between, there's a whole bunch of war happening. Loads of bad guys shooting each other. Doesn't feel remotely at all like anything. And then all the characters escape. So we have Ken, Ryu, we have E. Honda, Zangief, Cammy, Chung Li. Everyone else escapes. Guile finally escapes from the explosion, like by minimum, and gives like both Chung Li and Cammy the sexy eye, like say, "I've just gone for a lot. I think we should bang later." Right? That's the look I got. That's the look because they had to do this really weird flirting thing, and then the end with everyone's victory pose. But that's such, like, not the way you should end the movie, because it's just like, oh my god, you know how many people have died? Yeah! Yeah! I've actually had enough of talking about this movie, but if you have to sum this up as a whole, what would you say about this movie? You have to summarize it. We've gone through the entire movie, and even we were struggling to find anything good about this. Not a lot of goods in this.
There isn't anything good. I can't think of anything good about it. It's a very, very bad conversion of the game. Because if you think about it, when it comes to video game movies,
Yes.
all you've got to do really is be faithful to the game in some way, because that's what the audience is. The audience love that game. They're going to come and see the movie.
Yes.
So please them.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
It's not. It in a weird way. It shouldn't be that hard. You need to be loyal enough to the source material, as well as maybe do a few little things that make it interesting that work for a movie, right? But this has nothing, like barely anything like the games.
Yeah.
At all. And it's bollocks. Out of all the ones we've watched, this was the one that was the least fun. And that is so sad, knowing that I used to love this movie as a kid, and I used to play all the Street Fighter games, and now this is now going to go right into a fucking black hole. Just chucked it. For those who haven't heard it, I just chucked the cover with rage that this movie gave me.
No, they couldn't have done like a worse job. It's just, it is painful.
And so much stopped this movie from actually making any kind of coherent sense that the movie ends up being dull as dishwater, really not funny or interesting. Only a few one-liners here and there that's good, and nothing like the video games. If you want something better than this, just play any Street Fighter game and make up your own plot, because that makes more sense.
If you want a good movie, watch the Street Fighter 2 manga.
Yeah, the anime. That's good.
It is very good.
Yeah, it's better than all the other Street Fighter movies out there, because there are a few. We're not touching those again. So, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you like what you see and want to see more trash like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We also got the Trash Tapes audio podcast, which is available on Spotify, iTunes, and all other platforms. So, until next time, keep an eye on your trash. There might be some treasure in there. See you guys later.
See you guys.